Ever since she was a little girl, Devin Leondis has been praying for underprivileged kids.
Who are very sick and they don't have any tools. Amen.
Most people laughed when Devin shared her dream to one day build an orphanage in Africa. On her 16th birthday, she asked for donations instead of gifts to build a freshwater well for those in need. Devin took that money and donated it to Operation Blessing for not one, but 3 water wells. Now at 22, she's formed an organization and partnered with Orphans Promise to build a village in Ghana.
Well, joining us now is Devin Leondis. And Devin, thank you so much for being here. It's such a, you're a visual picture of the fact that if we're available, God will say, come on, let's partner together. Hey, you've always known from the time you were very young that God had a call on your heart for orphaned and vulnerable kids. How did you know that?
Yeah, so ever since I was young, I just really felt like God had put this in the deepest parts of my heart, and it was something that I couldn't stray away from, and it was something that I can remember from the time I can look back on my childhood.
Was it that feeling inside of you that caused, it was you and your dad that went on the mission trip, right, the first time? And what was that like for you? What did God do in your heart when you actually went on a missions trip to Ghana and saw the need?
Yeah, so when I had first gone to Ghana, I was going with the mindset that I was going to help these people, but God had completely humbled me and kind of turned my world upside down, and He showed me that these were the people and they were giving me so much more than I could give them. And I was just confronted with so much poverty and devastation, yet I still found so much beauty and hope in the hearts of these amazing people.
Yeah. And one of the things that they had was a water need, very common need in many parts of the world, but that really spoke to you. What made you say, gee, I think I can build a well?
Yeah, so I had always dreamed of going to Africa. I didn't know how old I was going to be or when I would get the opportunity, but on my birthday I thought it was a great chance, and going over there, it was a good opportunity to be a part of something bigger than myself and learn about things that I wasn't really dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Clean water is just, needed everywhere around the world, and just to be able to be a part of that and see how much it impacted these people and their day-to-day lives, and then being confronted with even more of their needs, that it was way beyond water and that there was spiritual and other needs that needed to be met.
A lot of people, I think it's very common within the church in America today for people to go on missions trips. And I think many people go and they have compassion for what they see. They're astonished by the need that they see, and they come home and they move back into life as they knew it. But for you, it was different. God really spoke to your heart. On your 16th birthday, you could have just had all your friends and family give you wonderful gifts, but you said, I want the well. I want the well. So people contributed to that, and you wound up raising money for not one well, but 3. What was it like to go back and experience the untold gratitude of people who, really water is life. It's not just convenience, it's life. That had to have such a powerful impact on you.
Yeah, definitely. It was just a time where I was completely shaken out of my complacency. And I really got to see God work in the lives of these people and work in my heart. And it was definitely something that I wanted to be a part of, and I refused to kind of exist. I wanted to exist with a purpose, and I wanted to live a meaningful life. And I felt like, God had brought me to Ghana for such a time as this. And I was young at the time, but I wanted to come home and live a different life because God had called me to do that.
Well, you surely did do that. You honored your parents by completing your college. But now, over the course of your college years, you've been raising money to really create this village where children who are alone and vulnerable through whatever means, sometimes it's because their parents have died, sometimes it's because they're ill, will have a safe place to stay. And you're calling it Project Nemensa, which means what?
It means God's helping hands.
Yeah, which is what all of the people who've been a part of this, you've got many, many friends who've stood with you in this, committed to be a part of this financially and in prayer. And in July, you and I are going over there and you're going to get to cut that ribbon. Is that a little surrealistic to you?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah,
I'm really looking
it's-
forward to it.
It's seeing the pictures. It's like watching a community rise up out of the dirt, you know, of nothing, to see what God can do. One of the things I love about your generation, Devin, is that part of you that says, I want to live a life that matters. And I think there are many people who feel that way. We're going to, of course, continue to follow the progress of Project Nemensa. But what would you say to young people who are watching right now, not just young people, to anybody who thinks, you know, I'm one little person and God has laid this on my heart, but what can I do?
Definitely. So one thing I would say to anyone is whether you're old or young, age should not be a matter that determines when or where or how you do something. And that's a lie. And you should definitely not let that stop you. And I would say to follow your heart, because God gives you the desires of your heart. And you don't need to go to Africa to make a difference. You can help out in your local community, in your church, in your backyard. And I would just start by taking small steps and asking God, you know, reveal yourself to me and show me what you have for my life and let me live a life with purpose and meaning.
Do the first thing first. Right? So what do you want to see happen in the Village of Hope that's been built in Ghana? Because it's going to be a place of hope and such restoration for people. What's your vision for it? What has God spoken to your heart?
Yeah, so my vision for the Village of Hope is to just be so excited to raise up a future generation of leaders. And, you know, God has placed a calling on all of these kids' lives, and He's been so a part of their story and their journey. And I'm so expecting and looking forward to what the future has in store for them. But for the village, I do believe that this will be the first of many. And I'm just kind of following God, whether there'll be more in Ghana or in other countries. I'm just kind of letting Him take the lead on this.
Well, isn't it interesting? I don't know if you thought this, but the story we just saw before yours of Barb, who was baking banana bread for Uganda and talking about investing in children, maybe raising the next president of Uganda. You may be raising up the next president of Ghana. I mean, wouldn't that be something? To see that spread across Africa. Yes, godly children, godly young men and women who will lead their people with integrity and with purpose. Thank you for what you're doing. Looking forward to July. And want to say to all of you, if you'd like more information on Project Nemensa, go to projectnemensa.org and you will be able to follow Devin, follow the progress. We'll be cutting that ribbon in July. We're very excited about that. Lots of people who've been a part of it going over there with us. And you can go too. Just come online, follow us. We'll be sending some updates afterwards as well. So Devin, thank you.
Thank you.